A free laptop next on the Metal Pulpit. So each Sunday, I am finding myself getting into this groove. Typically, I get to church a few hours early as I'm a pastor of a church here in Wisconsin. But I've been finding myself going to this little restaurant in Sunday mornings, and it's early Sunday mornings. Church doesn't start till 10. I'm usually in the restaurant about 6:30. And this waitress, this last Sunday, she was telling me how she was beginning to look for a Chromebook or a laptop for her 4th grade son. I can relate to this because I have a 5th grade son and a 4th grade daughter, and about 2 years ago, they needed a Chromebook, and so we picked one up for them. Well, this lady, she's just a nice lady. She was a waitress and quite honestly reminded me of a younger version of my mom. Her looks, everything, and just doing her best to give her kids a good life. And so she's waitressing, depending on tips and all of that. But she said, you know, it's just not doable. It's not feasible right now. And she's not sure what she's going to do. Well, this got my wheels spinning, okay? Because there's a little verse in scripture that if more Christians would get this, what a beautiful place it would be. It goes like this: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's the golden rule. You see, about 2 weeks ago, I went to go see Tim Hawkins, the Christian comedian. And he made this statement about being a comedian. He goes, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. He goes, all you got to do is listen and draw from it some stories. The same goes for outreach. The same goes for serving people. All you got to do is listen. What should the church do? What should I do? How can I make a difference? Where can I go? What missions trip? Stop and listen. This is what I did Sunday. I stopped and listened. I could have said, oh, well, we'll be praying for you. We'll be hoping that the tips come in. You'll be able to get a Chromebook laptop soon enough. No, that's not in my DNA. It simply is not. If you know me, it's not in my DNA. So what I did was the next morning I put it on Facebook. I sent an email out to the church. I said, hey, this was the story. This lady needs a laptop for her kid. And I put it on Facebook as well. I'm friends with a lot of people in our community, even ones that don't go to our church. They're still friends. And within a day, we had enough donations that came in that I went to the store the next morning and bought a brand new laptop for this lady. You see, this morning I went in, I found out when this lady works and everything. And so I went in, another guy from our church came, and we had dinner, we had breakfast, we were sitting there eating, and finally, she wasn't our waitress for this visit, but finally I got her to come over. I said, so how are things going, finding a laptop? And she goes, well, it's on hold. I'm gonna have to wait till Black Friday. You see, in the United States here, Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving. That's in November. We're in February. Her kid needs a laptop. You see, here's what we did. I said, well, you know, we reached out to some people. I'm the pastor of this church, and I reached out to some people there, and I reached behind my jacket and I pulled out the box, a brand new, unopened Asus laptop. Instantly, she began sobbing. I mean, she had to set down the coffee and everything. She began sobbing. It would be like somebody, for some people, saying, here's a new car. This lady said, you don't know what this means to me. You don't know how much this means to me, how much stress this takes off of me. It was a beautiful thing. She gave me a big hug while I'm trying to eat pancakes. She gave me a huge hug. And the guy with me, Dave, he just saw it all happen. You see, here's the thing. This is the heart of the matter. Any of us can do that. Well, you may be saying right now, I can't afford a laptop. This is true. Not everybody can afford a laptop, but can you afford a cup of coffee? Can you take somebody out for a cup of coffee? Can you take somebody out for a Dairy Queen ice cream? Can you take somebody out just to hear their story, to help them out? Here's the other thing. Can you give somebody a smile? Can you say you're doing a great job? You see, when we treat others the way we want to be treated, the world becomes a much better place. I don't know if this lady will ever step foot in the church that I pastor, and honestly, I don't care. It is about being a human being that loves Christ. It's about the church being the church, not Little Radiant Fellowship, the church I pastor, not the one on the other side of town, not this one or that one. It is about the church. You and I are the church, okay? And so I challenge you with that. What can you do to brighten up somebody's life? What can you do to brighten up somebody's day? You know, I realize that God's given me the stage of being a pastor at a church, and so I use that as leverage. I use that. We took 2 trips down to the hurricane-stricken areas last year in the United States with supplies because God's put people in my path that I can utilize. But for some of us, we don't have that stage, but you still have a stage nonetheless. Buy someone a cup of coffee. Give somebody some clothes. Give somebody a smile. Do something, because it's the heart of a servant that I think makes God smile pretty big. Shoot me your thoughts or questions at pastorBobAdams@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have an awesome day.